Ready to go? Yeah? Okay. Welcome everyone to our seed saving, are they calling them these seminars? Yeah. Seed saving seminar, SSS. And so I've done this once before, a week or two ago, and a lot of things have happened in my life. I'm not sure that I would present it exactly the same, but we have new people, different questions and interests, so that'll be good. So I want to ask you, what caused you to be interested in saving seeds? Where did that come from? Did it come from your childhood?
Yes.
Most of the time it happens from childhood.
My grandfather did.
Your grandfather did?
Yes.
Okay.
And still, because I live in his own house, and I still to this day occasionally find a jar of seeds.
Yeah, yeah. How about you? Did it start from childhood? Yeah? Okay. Did somebody in your family have practiced it?
Yeah, my mom always liked plants, and that's an interest that we shared together.
Okay. All right. How many of you have gardens that you are wanting to collect seeds from or have collected seeds from? Yeah? Okay. Yeah. How many of you go places and you see these seeds and you're like, coveting seeds? Yeah. So I, from childhood, grew up on a dairy farm in Canada. My parents are from Holland, immigrated after the war, and were seed people, plant people. They all had little gardens in Holland, and in Canada you grew your own food too. But on the West Coast, you just stick the seeds in the ground and everything grows. So they just grew gardens like it was breathing. And so I come to West Texas and find it's a whole different ball game. Yeah, but I'm still interested in seeds because Mom and Dad did. Wasn't sure where it came from because it was like, growing up breathing, kind of like, do you have experience in landscaping? I don't know. Till I found out, yeah, whenever you change something in your garden or plant something, you're in landscaping. We did that all the time. It was like life. So then I found out that my dad, when he went to Butcher Gardens in Victoria on the Vancouver Island, came home with seeds. You're not supposed to take the seeds from Butcher Garden. But anyway, he just had this very big interest in seeds. And when they retired off the farm, Dad moved an old garden, and turned it into lawn, and built a whole new garden that was level with the soil he wanted. And he had a beautiful garden, and he walked through it with his wooden shoes and was just in this happy place for about 10 years of just enjoying gardening and planting. And my sister, my brother, and I, we all tend to like that as well. So yeah, it usually comes from childhood. So and here in Texas there's a lot of plants with seeds, and you just have to know a little bit more about them to have them to be successful. So on this slide we have different seeds. We have seeds from fruit, tree fruit, grains, pods, wildflowers. I think that's pecan. I don't remember what that is. Hollyhock, maybe? Or something like that. Anyway, from around here. I try to include things that kind of grow a little bit around here. So let's go to the second one, and we'll have the definition of, and I don't know how to turn it from one to the, okay, there it is. I didn't see that laying there. Yeah. Okay, the arrow. Yep. The definition on the second slide. The definition of saving seed. Am I in the way of anybody? No?
You're good.
Okay. Is the practice of saving seeds from vegetables, herbs, flowers, grains, berries, and trees to use from year to year. Sometimes you might skip a year because the seeds are viable for more than one. Every plant has been created has either a seed or other reproductive material that can be used to produce new plants of the same variety, or a cross-pollinated type, or a hybrid, or it's the seed of the original stock plant. Like a pecan might not produce the same tree if you're not grafted. If you have a grafted tree, that pecan won't produce the grafted type. You'll just have the original old pecan. Many plants have seeds that need a period of drying to be viable, and others need a period of cold stratification, and some kind of need both. And some need a period of dry and a period of wet. Preparing seeds to save them for the next year or for several years before planting is a way that gardeners and farmers over the many years have used to save money, and also helps to preserve the variety of plants, which there's a lot of not a lot, there are some seed banks in the United States, and there's one main one that I'll talk about later, where they collect seeds that are try to keep species alive before they go extinct, I guess. Collecting seeds for saving and planting later is a wonderful way for people to find beauty in growing their own plants from seed, or eating the plants that they grew from seeds. You enjoy the habits of the plants that you grow, and you learn from the habits and become more knowledgeable and have the experience to do it better and better as time goes on. And you enjoy the colors, the variety, the patterns in seeds. You cut open like a pomegranate, and it's kind of a wild looking pattern, but you cut open an apple, there's a star in there, the seed pod. It's just all very interesting and pretty special when you think about it. And using your plants that you've grown from seed to plan a special landscape, trees, wildflowers, a garden that you eat from, pollinators, deer food, because deer like to eat some things that you want them to leave alone. Okay. And why are we doing that? To save money, to increase access to fresh and healthy food. In this day and age, we're farther away from real healthy food, and so we don't want a lot of extra helps in preserving. We want the most natural, back to the basics. We want to protect and preserve our pollinators, because some of the things that are added to our crops and things are causing pollinators to suffer. We want to become self-reliant, so the power goes down. We can go to the garden, pick up something, eat fresh. Potatoes, I mean, we can grow our own potato. What did the Irish do and the Dutch? They relied on their potatoes. We had potatoes every day, except for maybe Sunday, growing up. And it's like, why, Mom? Why potatoes again today? It just goes with everything. So, and to preserve and increase the vital seed diversity. I don't know so much about it, just learning about that. I guess it's a science that is useful to us here in this world, and we can share that plants with future generations to come, rather than that they die out because we didn't know, didn't care to know. Okay, to save seeds well, it's good to know the names of the plants their genus, and their species. If you want to save pure seed that has not been cross-pollinated, it's necessary. And John can tell you about his cucumber melon cross-pollination experiment. So you want to prevent cross-pollination where two varieties can do so. Hybrids usually don't produce seeds. So when you see a package that says hybrid on it, you know that those seeds, it won't produce seeds. It's already a modified seed. And only those that are stabilized, which is a new part of science, will do so. And I haven't seen that on any packaging yet. So has anybody else seen the word stabilized or something like it on a seeds that you bought? No, I haven't either. So I guess it's relatively new. Research the variety that was planted if you can, and there are charts, a lot of helps online actually, for a variety of plants. Some plants can reproduce with each other, melons and squash, and some in the cabbage brassica family, except for two types of kale, do not cross-pollinate. So if you knew what they were, then you wouldn't get a kale cabbage or whatever plant. Zinnias cross-pollinate, so you get a variety of colors. And sunflowers cross-pollinate, and so you have interesting sunflowers if you have planted several varieties over the years and saved the seeds. Watermelon will not cross-pollinate. I don't know why. It's pure. And there's one of the sites that has a lot of information, seedsavers.org. Here's a chart. You can go online and see it better than on here or there. But this is very interesting because if you go down to asparagus, it's pollinated by the wind. The life cycles are perennial. It keeps coming back. And it'll keep coming back for many, many years. Your grandmothers or grandfathers may still be producing asparagus. Recommended space between the seeds, viable seeds, 2, 1 male, 1 female. So you need to collect a number of the seeds because you don't know of the plants that come up, which are male, which are female, until they start producing seeds. I don't know if each plant produces edible stalks or not. Didn't think about that. And variety maintenance, I guess, to keep the same. I don't know how many varieties of asparagus there are, 20 to 50 feet apart, and then it can be preserved, the seeds, for 80 years. Was that 80 years? We looked it up last time, I can't remember. But anyway, let's see, what else do we grow here? Cabbage. People grow collards here. I don't know how many of you are collard eaters. 5 viable seeds, 20 to 50 feet apart for keeping from cross-pollinating. So the other side of your yard.
Where do we find it?
Seedsavers.com, I think.
Okay.
.org. Coriander, which Mr. John has available for y'all. Coriander seeds from the, what's that plant that I don't like? Cilantro, yeah. Anyway, it's coriander, and all those beans and melons, fennel for your butterflies, pumpkin, rye is a grain, watermelon, tomato. Okay, distance for seed saving. Okay, those, we can go through all that, and this is a nice little chart. I can't see it on here for just simple garden, vegetable garden type plants. I just cannot see it on here. You have to use your magnifying glass, I guess. Okay. Easiest seeds to save if you're just starting out with seed saving are the ones that are self-pollinating. Beans are self-pollinating. In fact, beans will pollinate before their flowers are even open. So you think, oh no, the flowers are gone and we didn't even have sun. I didn't see any bees, and behold, you get some seed pods growing. You get beans because before the flowers open, they've already self-pollinated. Interesting. And peas, black-eyed peas around here, squash, pumpkins, basil. How many of you grow basil and the flower stalks shoot up and you can grab seeds, and they are easy to sprinkle, and then you have new basil. Marigold seeds, how many of you plant marigolds in your beds to keep the bugs away? Yeah, once the seeds dry out, pick them up, drop them. You have new little marigolds pretty easily. Moonflower, which I have some seeds for you right there if anybody wants them.
Blooming right now.
Pardon me?
Mine is blooming right now.
Yeah, they're the most beautiful, one of the most beautiful flowers for a night garden.
They're poisonous, I heard.
If you eat them. And deer don't touch them. Our dogs don't touch them. Cats don't touch them. So they must know something about what's poisonous and not. Unless there's something wrong with them, maybe. So, and cone flowers, like echinacea. Those reseed easily too. So if you're just getting started, those are good. What if you have a seed head that you really want to save the seeds from? You can do this by putting a little organza baggie over the top before they pop, and then you catch your seeds in the little baggie. I was thinking of one that just pops far, and it's they may, I don't know.
Oh, they do.
Do they twist and pop?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Yeah,
If they pop in your hand, I mean,
Yes.
you feel it.
okay. All right. I've had pods that I stuck in my pocket, and at the end of the day, the seeds that were in my pocket out of the pod. So, yeah. I was thinking of bird of paradise, Mexican bird of paradise. Their pods get dry, and when they're ready, when the humidity is just right and their temperature is just right, they'll pop, and they fling them far, 20, 30 feet away, and you're like, you know, but they're over on the driveway over there or something like that, and you're like, where do these seeds come from? I think I have a few here. So anyway, it's just a very interesting thing to do. There's lots of seeds that are easy to save. Some seeds are not so easy to germinate, cause them to sprout, but there's tricks to that too that we're not going to be talking about so much here. To start, choose self-pollinating plants because they fertilize themselves, and the plants produce the seeds like the parents. So if you keep saving the seeds, they'll always have those types of seeds, true to type. Open pollinated or heirloom seeds. So if you want to start with a good seed, you look for one that says heirloom on it. You know then, yes sir?
Are you going to go into the epigenetical thing about keeping your seeds and adapting them to your soil, or
What was the second part?
adapting the plants to your own environment? So that you can get
Probably
seeds?
not.
No, okay.
Not adapting that to your own environment. You might have to,
Aspect.
pardon me?
I was more into the breeding. I'm sorry.
It's okay. Maybe one of us can speak to that. This is a dwarf blue curled kale. And I have a some beets here too that I think this one said heirloom. Yeah, heirloom seeds. Detroit dark red beets. Anyway, those will be open pollinated seeds, true to type, usually pollinated by insects or wind or maybe your finger if you flick, or paint. Some people use paintbrushes like tomatoes and squash to pollinate. Grow select seeds of the plants you like the most. Don't just say, oh, this looks like interesting, unless you like to experiment. But if you want to succeed, you grow the things that you would like to perhaps eat or enjoy as for their beauty. And when you collect the seeds, you look for the healthy plants. If you want plants that are tall, then you collect from the tall plants. And don't just collect from one plant. Collect from 5 plants because you want a bit of variety and the healthiest aspects of the small mass that you might have grown. And the color matters. If you want white tomatoes, pick the lightest tomatoes seeds. Though I don't think there are white tomatoes. But anyway, you might try to grow white tomatoes. The ones who have resisted pests, you've noticed that, these ones over here, the bugs have not been messing with. Then you look for that. You don't want to keep on picking caterpillars off of things that you want to save. So you look for that if you're collecting seeds. It takes time, I guess. If you can produce a squash that doesn't have squash bugs, you would make a mint, because we just haven't found that to be quite the thing yet. And then at the very bottom I have plants that need to be cross-pollinated to produce seeds. So you have to have 2 apple trees at least, maple trees, grasses, corn is another one in the grain family. Daffodils, you can't just plant one, you need several. And blackberries, raspberries, and most flowers, wildflowers, you need more than one plant to cross-pollinate so that you get seeds. Otherwise it lasts for that season, unless it's a perennial. So just so you know that. All right. Annuals. Seeds of annuals can be harvested right when they're ripe. So you have plants in your garden that you want to save the seeds from. You need to make sure that you leave the seed heads on the plants. So you think, oh, look at that. My kale has, what is that called? Headed out, seeded out. There's a name for that. I can't think of it right now. But anyway, don't pick that thing up and think, oh, I can take it in my house and it'll let it ripen, whatever. The seeds need to stay on the plant to turn brown and dry, and then you can collect them. There's very few seeds that you can just pick while the plant is still, while the seed is still soft, maybe I can say green. So you pick a banana and you open it up and you see the little seeds there. I think that you can't do bananas that way, but you can see the seeds down the middle of the banana, and you picked it green, of course. Well, they're not going to be viable seeds. Lemons, apples. You have to let them kind of rot on the plant as long till they're very, very ripe, mushy, yucky, ripe. So with grains, you probably know from the wheat harvesters around here, they wait till the grains are dry and then they go and pick with the harvesters. Or you can do your own and sprinkle them around on your garden. Marigolds, poppies, coneflowers, snapdragons, herbs, basil, anise, dill, and fennel, and all the grains, berries as well. You wait till the blackberry's just about to drop off the plant or collect them from off the ground where they have fallen. Pick them up and save them. And then there's biennials that need 2 seasons of growth. So you have a cabbage plant and it starts to bolt, is the word. It starts to bolt and make a seed head, and you really like the way that plant looked and all, and you think, man, I would like to save those seeds, and the others, you've eaten from or whatever. Let that bolt continue to grow until it's dried out, and then pluck it off, shake the seeds into a baggie or something, usually paper, and I'll tell you why. I forget now. I think that's a carrot. Seed pods on a carrot that have started to turn brown. And then this is, I'm not sure. That's probably a carrot. Not sure what that is. Can't remember right now. In the legume family, because it's a bean pod. Okay, any questions about annuals, biennials, or anything else that came to your mind that you would like to talk about a little bit? And we'll chat amongst ourselves because you probably have some experience that I don't have. Not yet? Yes?
Is there any way to turn it up? I'm so having a hard time hearing.
Yeah? I'll try to talk louder. This is just to record the whole thing for the library's use and the Master Gardener's use. So I'll try to talk a little louder. I'm deaf too, so when I turn to you is because my, I guess this is my good ear. Now I'm so used to doing this, I don't even know. Yeah, because I sleep like this, so I don't hear any. That's my bad ear. What? I don't know what I'm doing. Probably because I have to hear that way. Okay, perennials need special cold stratification before they're ready to germinate. So you save the seeds and you put them in your fridge for a little while or in a cool place for a little while. In Texas, how many perennials come up from seeds in your beds and you're like, oh, I didn't plant that there, like a salvia, right? So the cold that we have here, some of our winters are pretty cold, is enough cold stratification for salvias. Yes, sir?
Yeah, you can also take the seeds, throw them in the freezer for a couple of days, and they will go into.
In the freezer.
You throw them, you take the seeds that are of that variety, you throw them, bag them up, throw them in the freezer for a couple of days. Pull them out, and it sets it up for.
Okay, and you can plant them that same season?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, interesting.
Not a long, couple of days, just enough to sit it out.
Just enough cold, like our freezes are like one night cold. Yeah,
Unless we have the snow again come through.
right. That was a different cold. That was a kind of an insulating, snow-covered cold for the plants. Yes. Okay. Woody shrubs like Mexican bird of paradise, they need some cold. It's what they say. I've done it without. Desert willow, they say, needs a cold stratification period. I haven't tried those. Herbs like thyme and oregano need some cold before the seeds will be ready to sprout. So you can save them, and then to make sure that they're ready, put them like in a freezer for a couple days or overnight, and yeah, so.
Question.
Yes,
Like, I brought them some wild salvia seeds this morning, and because I have some in pastures. So we all plan on planting them this weekend, or throwing them out this weekend. Now, the cold from the winter will be enough for them to come up for next
Apparently.
spring,
I
right?
c- yeah, I
mean,
think
that's
so.
how they do it in the nature, right?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
right.
All right,
Yeah,
that's what we're going with.
yeah, that's right. Any questions? Yes?
Question. I have some okra plants, and the pods turn brown, and sometimes I pick them, but I wonder, since they're dried out on the plant, are they okay to stay, like, if I leave them on the plant outside in the rain, will that affect their viability if they keep getting soaked and dried again after being dried naturally?
If they need the cold through the winter, they'll do what they need to do. If they need the wet, I don't have experience with okra, but if they need the wet, then the wet of here will cause them. I have just not seen any okra reseed. Yes?
Okra, I usually, once the seed pods are dried, I usually go ahead and pull them. That's the best way to say it, is inside and they're just dry.
Okay. Great, thank you.
Yeah, it's like how susceptible are they to mold or fungus?
They're reasonably susceptible to mold, mostly dry.
Yeah, that would be the reason.
Okay, to keep them dry. Yeah. Yes, sir? Okay.
A fairly robust moonflower plant, and I put out the big thorny, I tried pulling them inside, picking them out of the thing, and that was no good. I've got one surviving pod. I'm gonna leave it outside, but I'm gonna put like a mesh bag on it, so when it explodes, opens up, I'll be able to save the seeds.
Yeah, so I have one plant that's really healthy, and it produced many seed pods this spring or summer. And my husband collected a bunch for me, and it keeps on producing. There's some more green pods on there.
Once you pick the flower off it, they'll keep.
Well, we just leave them fall. But 2 weeks ago, I went over there looking, and there's new little sprouts. So they're not going to do anything because the freeze is going to get them first freeze. So do you want some? Because I can try to pot some up, but you'd have to put them in your greenhouse. I don't know much about that, but maybe in the greenhouse they'll continue to do their thing.
So are you going to tell us how to store them?
Yes, I'm going to do that right next. Oh, I was supposed to do that before.
Pollen with some baking flour, a little bit of flour. If you have a plant.
Baking flour? Baking soda?
Not baking soda, but flour itself. It's about 1/3 to 2/3 pollen, 1/3 flour to 2/3 pollen. That's what we do with our hemp plants. We breed. That way the pollen will store for almost a year. That way, keep it cool.
Okay. So that's what we're going to talk about next a little bit.
I was just saying, if you want to have one of these plants that's a pollinator that you have to, like the wind or the insects, you can collect the pollen off the plants, the male plants, and then just use a little bit of flour, about 1/3 flour to 2/3 of the pollen, and keep it in little vials that are kind of dark, just a cool spot, and it'll save for almost a year. And that way you can just manually pollinate as you want to.
Interesting. Okay, I was going to talk about collecting seeds out of plants a little bit before I went to perennials and storing seeds. So when you take the seeds off a very dry pod or seed head, you need to take those seeds and spread them on a tray or wax paper where the air can continue to keep them dry. So you think they're dry, but we have some humidity here in Texas, so we think things are pretty dry, but they can be more dehydrated. And I even read that some people put them in their ovens for a little while, temperatures under 100 degrees, but I don't know. It seems, yeah. Yeah. Anyway, so you can pretend you're having a 110 degrees day, and try it. Yes?
If you seal them up in the oven without even turning it on, from moisture from the outside would not necessarily penetrate into the oven.
Yeah, true. Yeah. So you keep your seeds on a dry place for several days. You pick off or blow off the extra plant matter, and then you shake them into, if you use wax paper, you can just pour them into your container. So I was going to show you what I did until I just learned. You don't save them in plastic baggies. This one is okay because I left it open and it's kind of held open by the pod. But I just started saving, and this one doesn't look so bad either. These are yucca. I kept the baggies open, but you can see a little bit of mold and stuff. So this is how I've been saving seeds.
So you're saying not to save them?
No. Some of them survived, because I left them open. But I don't know how dry they got. So it's best in a paper towel, in a paper bag, or an envelope. And I'm going to give you guys some if you would like.
That's all they require for any plant samples, is just a plain
Paper bag.
That's what they want.
Yeah, yeah. So I learned, and some of our gardeners over the years, master gardeners, have learned that. You save your larkspur in little paper envelopes and you can give them to friends easily. Hollyhock. I didn't know why they did that. It just seemed like, okay, easy. Little envelopes readily available. So not this. And then when your seeds are dry, you can put them in a container in a dry, dark place for a year to 5, sometimes longer. So that's with the dry plants, seeds. Yes, sir?
Being with the VA and having a lot of little pill bottles around my house, I drilled a hole in the top of them, and I put a piece of tape on it.
You drill a little hole on top. Okay. That's a good idea. Okay, thank you. So what about berries or other fleshy things? How do you save them? Well, apparently, I haven't done it, except accidentally, you take your berry. What kind of berry should we do from around here?
I think people grow strawberries here.
Yeah, strawberries, blackberries, peaches. So you take those. Sometimes you can leave the things on the plant, like plums maybe, until the wild plums. But anyway, you take the berries and you put them in a cup of water, and warm water, and then you wait for 1 to 3 days until the pulp, and you stir it up every so often till the pulp kind of disintegrates and falls off, and the pulp usually floats to the top, or may, I guess, and the seeds that are viable will drop to the bottom, and you keep on stirring, and then you can strain that through a colander or something that, not a colander, but a sifter, screen, what's it called? We don't hardly use them anymore. Pardon?
Coriander? Oh, no, wait.
Sifter.
Flour sifter.
Yeah, something like that, or coffee filter perhaps. Anyway, or if you're really good in the stuff that's bad, old seeds that are not viable, or debris usually flows to the top, you pour it off, and then you can do it again. Put it in another cup, shake it, mix it, pour off the top, and then lay it, put them on a paper towel. Then you can pick off all the mushy stuff that still may be attached, and then you have the seed. You save them with tweezers, the little tiny strawberry seeds, blackberry seeds, they're very tiny. And then you let them dry until you think they're dry enough and then still some. So they're very dry. And then you can store them in a paper baggie. I guess the fermenting is very good because it kills any viruses. Who would have thought? But fermenting is a natural process, and it kills viruses. So drinking a bit of wine, good for the belly, good for the heart. So anyway, it's a good thing. Okay. So what about pecan seeds? What if you want to save pecan? Well, you have to wait till the pecan's outer cover gets dry and comes off. Yeah. And how do you save them? What if you want to grow a pecan tree around here? You what?
Scatter them and run.
Yeah. They need a period of wet. And so I think I heard and read that what you need to do with a pecan that you want to start germinating is every day or so pour some water over it, runs off of it. Don't sit it in water. So our rains, they go away, and there you go. The squirrel that planted the pecan, voila, gives you a pecan. Yeah, so anyway, that's very interesting. I didn't know that.
Start a compost heap if you've got pecans in it, it will come up.
Bur oak, the same. So what do you do with a peach pit? You've eaten your peach. Do you think it's ripe enough? You can try it, yeah. Orange seeds and stuff like that. You have to wait till the fruit is really quite rotten. And the wild plums.
It's usually when all the wasps are just eating away at all of it.
Yeah, because it's so sweet then, hey? Yeah. And then you can soak the plum seed for a few days in the fridge till the outer shell outer shell starts opening up, and then you pull out the nut, I guess it's called a nut. And then you save that until you're ready to plant it in your refrigerator.
So you don't plant the whole
No, because
thing?
if you want to expedite the process, I guess. Yeah, so you put in water in the spring, I guess, maybe, before you're ready to plant it. I'm not sure when, but whenever you're ready to, then you first have to break that shell open to give it a chance to be ready. Otherwise, what if the shell doesn't want to open?
Same thing with cherry seeds.
Yeah, probably with cherry seeds. They're a pain?
Right, the seed itself is so hard.
Yeah.
It takes forever.
I don't,
You have to get a pair of nutcrackers to get into the
maybe. So some of you've heard of scarification, right? You take sandpaper or something, you rub the seed to make it more porous so moisture gets into it, yeah. Oh, I brought some seeds that, I'll make sure that, yeah. So I can show you some of these. So these pod seeds, when the pod is dry, they just pop out, right? And then I saved some that were completely dry off of could be, I don't know for sure. So society garlic, seed heads, some of them are getting, I thought there was one dark one on here already. And I'm not even sure what that is, but it popped in my bag. So I kept this bur oak, and it's already split. Maybe when it hit the pavement, I don't know. So you can put that in the ground, and not very deep because bur oaks will sprout barely any soil leaf debris falls on pecans and bur oaks and such, and all of a sudden you have a little seedling growing where you didn't expect it to be. But it's probably better to take that little hat off for it to pop open. Okay, was God having you? See you. Oh yeah, you wanted a little baggie? And if you want a bag of coriander seed for your cilantro.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am. Appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you for coming. This is rain lily seeds, turned brown. It's probably easier for some plants for you to just dig up their bulbs that are in the ground than to try to do it this way. It's just kind of not necessary, but if you like seeds, you might. Okay, and I have, oops, the seeds are just flinging everywhere. A plum seed, probably needs to be soaked and the nut taken out. And the one that needs scarification is the Texas Mountain Laurel, though you might try soaking it in water and see, because under the Texas Mountain Laurel I take care of, these things fall, and in the spring, late summer, all of a sudden you have seedlings. So several rains, several periods of heat, several months of dry, and they do it. Not all of them, only like 6 out of a mass of them on the tree, right? So it's pretty amazing. All right, any questions?
We have tried to grow lavender for several years.
I don't know about lavender. Usually you buy no, you can buy seeds. Yeah, well, that's a good question. We'll have to find an expert on lavender, because there are lavender fields around here. Do they plant each plant separately? I don't know. Okay, what time is it? So grasses and grains, we have oats, corn, barley, and grasses. You just collect them off the plant when they're dry. And then you can dry them some more, and then you store them in paper bags. In a cool, dry place where the humidity is under 40%. So we have some days where it's high humidity, so sometimes we need to look for a better place than 100% humidity when it's raining and warm here in Texas. Okay, make sure you label them. The ideal place to store seeds is what John did with his coriander, in a glass jar. After they've had a period of good drying time. So that's probably the best. And then I have, for little things, I just bought these. I'm going to try to use some little vials. See how that goes. Okay. Berries. All kinds of berries. How do you harvest the berry? That's like a hard little berry, such as a cedar berry, or an oak berry. So you take the berries when they're very overripe, and you can squish them with a hammer and knock it open so you can see the seeds. And then you can put them in a cup of warm water and cause the pulp to separate from the seed, and the seeds will sink. I think that one up there could be a vitex berry, and that's beauty berry or coral berry. I sometimes can't tell the difference. So, yeah, so you wait till the berries are, sometimes they dry on the plant, like vitex. They get really dry on the plant and they don't always fall off. Or Chinese pistache tree, those berries on the female tree, pick them off when they're dry, and you want to grow a Chinese pistache, because you don't want to pay $150 for a seedling. So you might try that. And agarita, how many of you have heard of agarita? Berries, yeah? Do you harvest them?
Yeah, this year.
Pardon me?
Yes, I did this year.
Yeah?
I just ate them.
I did too, and I made jelly, but it was a lot of hard work.
It was.
Yeah. So you take, when the berries are ripe, they have pretty little yellow flowers, so you know you can get some berries. When the berries are ripe, you just thrash them, the plant, and put something like tarp or a sheet underneath the whole bush, and then you get lots of prickly debris. Yeah, it's really a mess. And it has a wild taste. My husband's like, nope, we don't like that. So didn't do it again, but he accommodated me. Trees, Texas persimmon, when the seeds are black. I don't have them with me, I don't think. But they're ripe now. If you have Texas persimmon trees around, you can collect them now. The green ones, see that green one? You know it's not ripe, but when they're black, you're like, what is this thing growing on the tree? They're hard to come by. I think that some at the garden, at the sale this week. They may be all gone, yeah. They're hard to come by, I don't see them too often. Lemons and limes, pomegranates grow here as well. And pecans we talked about already. The one lemon that people like to grow in a pot is called is that a Meyer? And you get several lemons. You can grow in pots, but you have to take them in the winter here. Anyway, people grow them from seed, and they produce. I've not seen oranges or anything else grown here in this part of Texas. Down south, maybe, yeah. When I lived in Honduras for a while, they had orange trees growing, and I'm like, oh my goodness. But they were not like the oranges they were just like, ugh. So it takes a little more than just growing an orange tree to get good oranges. Okay, those are some of the places you can look for information. And there's really a lot out there, way more than I would have thought. And it's an experiment, just like gardening is. So I hope you all enjoy it. What is your name, sir?
My name's Lou.
Lou. You should keep your information available, because I think that you have a little bit of experience you can share with us.
You got about the cream of the crop there.
Pardon me?
You got about the cream of the crop there.
In our gardening group?
No, just what I threw out is about what I know about.
Oh, okay. Well, you've got experience in some areas we don't, so. Any questions that we can ask of each other? Tomorrow's the indoor sale for the Big Country Master Gardeners fall plant sale, if you haven't been.
Get there early.
Apparently you get there early, because there's always these one, yeah, so, yeah, there's stuff there that I have never seen before that's always new and different, so, yeah. So you come and get a baggie, come and get some datura. This is a yellow columbine that I collected seeds from on the fly when I only had a medicine cup and white clear tape. And the thing popped in here and all those seeds are stuck on the tape.
Oh.
But hey, and so yeah, you can have some of these, and then John has something for you there.
For those of you that like cilantro, I had a single cilantro plant this year. I decided to harvest it off, let it sit there, die off, dry out. Harvested everything. I put the plant in a big Rubbermaid tub, just kind of let it sit there. Would shake it occasionally, squish it down, keep shaking it. And then my wife she wanted the seeds, so I was like, here you go. And so she sat there and would shake off all the seeds and everything. One plant, okay, this is about a third of what we harvested off of that one plant. We've got one of these that is strictly for coriander as a spice that she, did not just the simple, knock off the big stuff, but, kind of dusted it off, got all the stuff down so it's a food grade, a little bit more food grade. But I had 2 of these worth of seeds, and so if you want some coriander and for cilantros, feel free to do that.